HBO's Harry Potter series has been filming over the past couple of weeks, and honestly, I'm still pretty excited for it. Yeah, Black Snape and all that stuff, and yeah, I know that it's going to be cringe when it's implemented, and well, I've got my reservations, but I do in fact want it to be good, okay? Whenever I hear HBO's working on something, there's that back of my mind that thinks, ooh, is this going to be more like The Sopranos? Not thinking, Harry Potter's going to be like The Sopranos, but just thinking about quality when it comes to that. In the first couple of seasons of Game of Thrones, the first season of House of the Dragon, or is this gonna be more like Westworld? Is this gonna be, well, not first season of Westworld, we're talking seasons 2, 3, 4, did it get that far? Are we talking Watchmen? Are we talking Game of Thrones seasons 5, 6, 7, and 8? But of course, just being ruthlessly optimistic about things. I do hope that it's good, because honestly, outside of a couple of casting decisions, the rest of it looks exceedingly good. And hearing that, Voldemort's going to be in there, and then they got the, proper series-long Voldemort, because if you know anything about the first book or watch the first movie, you know that Voldemort is there. And depending on how they integrate him into the story this time around, maybe him in the full, Voldemort form will be a little bit more important, because I would imagine, especially in, by the time that he takes shape, and I guess it would be season 4 moving forward, but especially, season 2, okay, you got all the Tom Riddle stuff, it's that's going to be pretty important as well. And how many flashbacks are we going to be getting to the first Wizarding War, because it's going to be theoretically more in line with the books. It's all of that is very tantalizing. All of that I have a lot of hope for, and I just, once again, hope that it's really good, because at least when it comes to the cast itself, even with a couple of interesting decisions they have decided to make, Papa Asiadu signing on to that whole, J.K. Rowling, she's a bad lady because she talks a bunch of activism on social media. It's you should probably look in the mirror if you're signing on to a letter that's anywhere hinting that, but I digress. As for the original cast, you've heard Jason Isaacs, simultaneously praise the new Lucius Malfoy and Draco Malfoy, but then at the same time say that Harry Potter fans are racist if they want to say anything bad about Black Snape. It's oh, Christ almighty. But when it comes to the rest of the cast, we've heard J.K. Rowling say next to nothing about a show that is, ostensibly going to be defining her legacy even more than the movies, because there's going to be, when this is all said and done, and if it is a hit, it's going to be the defining take on Harry Potter. There's going to be more of it. It's going to be more in-depth, and it is going to be more in line with the source material, theoretically. And even though she is an executive producer and her name is going to be all over this, it's she has done very little in regards to promote or even advocate for this show. But when it comes to at least some of the living cast members, which, holy Christ, now that I think back on it, outside of most of the child actors, at least the ones that aren't locked up, not too many of them have come forward and said anything. I haven't heard anything from Daniel Radcliffe, haven't heard anything from Rupert Grint. Now, to be completely honest, I'm basing a lot of this stuff off of the last time we talked about this series, when I did more of a comprehensive look to just see if there are any comments on this. So this is about a week removed from when you're seeing this video, and yeah, still haven't heard anything about that. But that could be because, well, Daniel Radcliffe actually has a bit of a career after this. Rupert Grint, I think he purposefully took a step back, but the other head of that trinity, okay, Emma Watson, who everybody had pegged for just bigger and better things in Hollywood, well, she just decided to take the turn down activist boulevard after it was all said and done. And honestly, she could have had it all, but no, she decided to give it up for feminism, because of course, man, think about how hard you have to work in order to get governmental recognition in the arts, as opposed to just turning up and saying that, hey guys, around the world women are treated poorly. And especially in 2014 and 2015, when all of this stuff was seemingly brand new, you were getting standing applause for just simply being an attractive woman, saying that women have it so hard. She was one of the faces of that movement. Hell, she was up there with the Gamergate chicks and Brianna Wu, just championing how poorly treated women are in today's society. And she ended up becoming the UN ambassador for women's rights or some stuff like that. But as the years went on and her looks started to somewhat fade, she approached that wall, and instead of zigging or zagging, she decided to run headfirst into it. And well, she coined the term self-partnering, because she just truly was in lockstep with the rest of the nonsense that was going on around that time with other formerly in-demand chicks starting to recognize that their sexual market value was beginning to wane, and well, instead of comporting yourself appropriately, you just decide that everybody else is the problem, and no, I'm perfect the way that I am. I grew up with everybody telling me that I was right, that I was special, that I was going to be somebody, and now nobody can treat me better than me. So Emma Watson clarifies what being self-partnered means to her. Well, I think it's pretty obvious, but because she's a 30-something-year-old female, now she can just go ahead and tell us what words mean. Getting to the point when I was 30, she's as old as I am, so she's 35 right now. I was realizing, maybe I've figured out some things about how to care for myself better, the actress admits. That's very interesting because, Emma Watson has candidly clarified her previous comments about being self-partnered in a new British Vogue cover story published December 14th, at the tail end of 2023, mind you. The 33-year-old opened up about her personal life in tandem with the misconceptions that arose around her remarks that she made in an interview from 2019. Speaking of the outlet 4 years ago, the Harry Potter lead confessed to being pleased with her single status. At the time, she was rumored to be dating Leo Robinson, and the duo was spotted embracing. However, comments in the article proved that she wasn't in a relationship, but was dating around. I've never believed the whole "I'm happy single" spiel, she said at the time. I was like, it's totally a spiel. It took me a long time, but I'm very happy being single. I call it being self-partnered. Yeah, this is shit that only women can get away with, mostly because women just cannot comprehend or even exist being alone. They're very social creatures. And okay, this isn't just me going, ooh, we hate women over here. No, that's not the case. I just detest them. No, they're social creatures. Okay, it's dictated by the jobs that they take. Women are more interested in people and men are more interested in things. There's no such thing as the happy single older woman. Okay, there is no female equivalent of the confirmed bachelor. So yes, she will go to this great length about being so happy alone. I'm self-partnered. Meanwhile, at the same time, she's linked with somebody else and she's also dating around. It's almost like, that she started to approach 30 when she could walk into a place and go, oh my God, that's Emma Watson. Oh my God, she's so pretty. Oh my God, she was in Harry Potter. When she was in rooms, right? When she was demanding the attention of all the men that were out there, when her sexual market value was, 8s or 9s, because those are the rooms that she found herself in. She was attracting the attention and she was actually eliciting responses from guys that were 9s and 10s as well. Now, she was 29 in some of those rooms and she was getting replaced and, in this case, recast by a younger crop of vixens. Well, then she decided to, instead of, reassess her value, have a moment of introspection, she just decided to cope with a brand new mental health problem. I think that covers up for a lack of personality and an inability to cope with aging. But yes, in the rest of the interview, she would talk about, trying to use her influence and her platform in order to advance her activist efforts, how she was in multiple different relationships, but she was just really happy being her, and how in recent years, she's kind of stopped acting, okay? She's taken a step back, realizing that I'm most fulfilled when I'm doing what is congruent with myself. And it's like, no, all of the offers started to dry up and you were only offered bit parts. I would imagine that would involve you doing increasingly more profane acts. And honestly, I got to give her props for this one, okay? Emma Watson explained sad reason she refused to take drugs or have nude scenes in movies, which, you know what, hey, well, you can have the likes of Jennifer Connelly end up taking those types of roles and end up getting Oscar nominations. You can take the high road like Emma Watson and say, no, it wasn't that nobody was calling me anymore. It's just I didn't want to take those gigs because they would go against my morals and other people's perceptions of me. Emma Watson has been an inspiration to a generation of young women thanks to her performance in Harry Potter as a lovable know-it-all Hermione Granger. Yeah, that will be for a certain subsect until that Harry Potter series comes around, and if it takes off, oh boy, she's going to be forgotten, kind of like, well, I don't want to beat a dead horse at this point. The actor, model, and feminist, in that order, I suppose, featured in all 8 of the films, yes, before ending up with Ron Weasley, which might have been enough to put anyone off acting for good, yes, because he was such a catch. Especially in those movies where he was ostensibly taking a backseat and a total cuck. However, Watson has since featured in films such as Beauty and the Beast, Perks of Being a Wallflower, and most recently, Little Women in 2019. Yes, most recently in 2019, before taking an acting break in order to complete her studies at Oxford University. Right, yeah. That's why she had to take a break. Despite her return, Watson made it clear in the films that she's appeared in thus far, and may well feature in the future. Her character shouldn't be seen doing drugs or in the nude. In an interview with the Times, the British star said, "I'm not going to get my kid off or snort cocaine in the film just to leave Hermione behind. I'm not going to do something shocking because I'm so paranoid or insecure that I can't play another role convincingly. I don't want anyone to forget me as Hermione. I'm really proud of her." Which, yeah, hey, you know what? Good for her. She understands the meta. Okay, this is the first point of, self-awareness, but it also comes from a solipsistic stance, I'd imagine. It's like, I'm Hermione. I don't want to have anybody's, perception of Hermione dwindled because I need to play junkie number 4 in order to pay my bills. I was like, yeah, I understand. That's totally fine. And I appreciate, her understanding that fans of Harry Potter, fans of her own work, want to see her in a specific light. I just kind of wish that would end up carrying over to her real life, as 2 Harry Potter stars were banned from driving on the same day. It's hilarious. The casting for one, okay, we just talked about the fact that Zoe Wanamaker, Madam Hooch, the flying instructor, ended up getting her license rescinded for 6 months. Well, that was the case for Emma Watson, who, ended up getting her 3rd driving infraction in 6 months, by the way. So, there's a little bit more to this story. Harry Potter stars, yes, Emma Watson and Zoe Wanamaker have each been banned from driving for 6 months following separate speeding incidents, reports the BBC. Watson was caught driving 38 miles per hour in a 30 mile per hour zone in Oxford during July 2024. For the traffic offense, Hermione Granger was fined £1,044, equivalent to $1,400 American, on Wednesday, July 16th. Before the incident, Watson had already racked up 9 points on her license. So, 12 points. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's the exact same thing. UK driver has been banned for 6 months after tallying 12 or more penalty points within 3 years, and also must apply for a new license before returning to the road. Wanamaker was doing 46 in a 40 in August of 2024, received the identical fine on Wednesday. But hey, even though she's been banned, it might not have been because of a DUI, now she can at least focus on her gin label, because that's, like, alongside Ryan Reynolds, there's a lot of actors and actresses that are out there that, even if they can't quite get any of those big ticket roles like they used to, they can just fall back into the realm of liquor and turn a quick buck. Which, hey, you don't want to drink it on screen, but you'll go ahead and peddle it off. And behind the scenes. Makes sense to me. You want to go ahead and uphold that image of Hermione being an upstanding citizen. But like any true feminist, all of your cope is done under a cloud of cheap alcohol. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo, and I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.